How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Congratulations on the new documentary series, Our Living World, arriving only on Netflix on April 17. Now, Ben, you are the series producer. Let me ask you, what does that job entail to be producing a wildlife docu like this? Because I get the impression that you are the guy who makes sure that everything runs smoothly from beginning to end. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a pretty large team. We have a core team based here in the UK, and then we did a lot of our filming during travel restrictions during the COVID lockdowns. So we had an extended team working around different parts of the world. So local teams in places in Africa, in places in South America, in places in Australia, in the States. And my job is to make sure they all play nicely and yeah, and deliver the story, the narrative that we're trying to tell.
Were you ever in the trenches with the photographers and the cameramen out in the wild?
Not on this show, not on this
Oh,
show, for,
okay.
mainly for the travel restriction reasons, but also when you've then got all of this kind of remote filming happening, there has to be a central hub who makes sure that everyone is on, is delivering to the same vision, is telling the same stories in the same ways. So yeah, it was a central hub role this time.
Now, you mentioned story narrative. That is actually my next question because I always have that wondering, like, okay, how does that come to be? Because do you guys, do the cameramen just like kind of wait for the animals to present the story themselves? Like, I mean, is it like a patient game kind of a thing, a waiting game kind of a thing? How does that work?
I mean, it can be. A lot of traditional wildlife filmmaking is exactly that: is where are the animals? What time of year are they likely to be doing the most interesting stuff? And then it's small teams in the field sitting and waiting and watching and fieldcraft and following the animals and waiting for the moment to happen and capturing it. Um, and there was some of that on this series. Our lion hunting sequence in episode 2 was very much that, was just hours in the field. um but the point about the stories that we're telling in this series is that they are more than just animal behavior. So we were looking for stories where we could see that animal behavior is interacting and intersecting with the physical processes of the planet. So we were trying to show how everything that every species does on Earth is connected to everything else. And sometimes that is connected directly in that, we've got animals chasing other animals, or you've got food webs, or you've got, you know, um, webs of interdependence, like our Brazil nut tree in the Amazon, relying on all those other creatures to help it pollinate and reproduce. But in some cases, these connections are the physical process on the planet. So we're talking about weather systems, or we're talking about ocean currents, or we're talking, about the physical ways that this animal behavior is linked. So when we came to choose our stories and look for our stories, our researchers cast the net out far and wide across all these fields of meteorology and geology and as well as animal behavior. And we were looking for those stories that showed that really revealed and illustrated that connection between species and the living planet.
Yeah, that really fascinated me when I was watching it, this interconnected network thing, how and then the visuals were great too, how the nutrients got blown by the wind up north, or when it fell as the rain in the Amazon rainforest. And I'm just wondering, like, how extensive is that? And did you have any worries, or usually have any worries when you put together a documentary like this, if somebody might, a myth buster might say, oh, that's not right, or that part is okay, that part's correct. Anything like that? Do you have worry?
Yeah, and we have a team of researchers
Mm.
whose job is exactly that, to get in touch with the scientists who are doing these studies around the world. A lot of this science is very fresh, a lot of this science is very new, a lot of this stuff they're only just discovering. So we're right at the edge of knowledge here, and every word in the documentary, all the stories that we're told, have to be backed up. And we have scientific advisors who read the scripts, and they look at the sequences, and then every word has to be backed up, and it has to be, I'm not a scientist, but I've got a lot of scientists standing behind this show and kind of helping us put forward a true picture of what's going on around the world. So yeah, but we take that kind of really seriously, and this is the science that we're presenting is new and is good.
Ben, last time I checked, David Attenborough and Morgan Freeman are still available and willing to do these kinds of gigs over and over again. But you guys went with the beautiful Oscar winner Kate Blanchett, and she did a fantastic job. Her voice was so sublime. It had a personality to it too, which helped make the story engaging. How did Kate get on board this project, and how do you direct an Oscar winner to narrate a documentary like this? Take me behind those scenes.
Yeah, okay. So there's two questions there. How did Kate get on board? We always knew that we wanted a female voice for this show,
Mm.
Mother Earth. We wanted to kind of tell a slightly different story and um, a story about nurturing and connectedness and interconnectivity on the planet. Um, I suppose at the back of our mind, we always had Galadriel wandering through the forest. And, you've seen the visuals. Some of the visuals are quite magic. We're talking about nature's magic here. So, there was something, there was a harmony in that we thought, actually, Kate's voice is going to work really well here. But then, above and beyond that, we realized that Kate has tapped into this world. She's had a podcast on kind of hope in the face of a changing climate. So she's aware of some of these issues that we're dealing with. She's very ecologically aware. She keeps bees, and as any beekeeper, beekeepers know about seasonality, and beekeepers know about the dependence between animals and plants, and that interdependence of species and so on and so forth. So she can speak very knowledgeably about a lot of the areas that we're dealing with. And if you get the opportunity to work with the best actor of our generation, then you jump at it. And then beyond that, when she's in the booth and we're working through the actual narration, the actual storytelling, she's a fantastic storyteller. She can really take these stories and elevate them and take them to a fantastic place. So we've got some of the best animals in the world. We've got one of the best storytellers in the world, and we put them together.
My final question is kind of lengthy, but I'm going to try to word it. That's why I wrote it down here. With wildlife documentaries like this, I'm always curious, Ben. I mean, I get that the ultimate goals are conservation and awareness, hopefully getting people to care about nature just a little bit more and to get educated. But we're living in such a polarizing time, polarizing society right now. Even in America here, half of us don't even believe in climate change. Some of them even flat out reject science. They prefer conspiracy theories. So how can documentaries like this get through to some of those folks? You see what I'm saying? Because we don't want our living world to just reach out to an echo chamber audience, just right. I mean, what's the solution there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I can address the kind of political side of your question directly, but I think the one thing that this series really tries to do is not to present the natural world as a victim. Okay,
Mm.
we're not presenting these animals out there as victims of this force, this evil force that's coming to get them. We're trying to empower these creatures and say, listen, the future health of our planet rests with some of these animals. These key species that by doing what they do help the planet function in a healthy way. And if we can understand the first point, that no species can live in isolation, we are all dependent on each other, species wise. And secondly, that there are key species that can help us redress some of the damage that's been done and can help kind of repair these frayed edges, if you like. So we're trying to empower the animals. That's what we're doing, and the stories that we're telling are trying to show that nature is actually the most powerful force out there, and it's on our side if we want it to be.
Very well said. Or from my fans at home, everybody go check out Our Living World, arriving only on Netflix April 17. Ben, thank you for talking to me and congratulations.
Thanks, Rama.